Hello YouTube, let's talk about how to create multi-dimensional arrays in C++ and basically what they are. So the best thing here is just immediately go to what we need to do. So what is the objective here? So if you remember how your Excel table look alike, or if you have ever worked with MySQL table, then you know that we have columns, rows and columns in those things where you can put actual elements. So the same stuff here. For example, in one general array you want to have this situation, like first row will contain this and another row will contain, let's say, these integers. So everything here need to be put inside of general array, multi-dimensional array, but inside we have two dedicated arrays, independent ones, but they still need to be in the same general array. So here's the thing, I'm gonna put this into comment section, and basically I probably didn't create a tutorial about comments, and the thing is that every time when you wanna some piece of strings to be visible, like explanations in your code, but compiler will not grab these things to be executed, then you will use these special symbols, these slashes, to put out of service that specific strings or numbers or whatever. So they will be visible but not usable. You as a programmer will see them, but they will not be executed, okay? So these are comments. Anyway, back to multidimensional arrays. So when we look into these things, we see that our general array need to have this structure: 2 rows and 3 columns. So we must state that when we are declaring array. So we are dealing with obviously integers, and after that we need to follow with a name, multi-r, let's say. It's totally up to you, this is not carved in stone. So we need to use the pair of these, and they're dedicated for rows and columns. So how many rows we have here? So this is like a replicating the structure of this structure into here in the simplest possible way. So how many rows? Well, 2 rows. So this is the first thing, okay? The first thing you need to put into these brackets. Okay, so how many columns? Well, 1, 2, 3. Right? So if this is the first time and if you're like confused with that relationship between rows and columns, just these horizontal stuff, they are rows, and these vertical stuff are columns. So the same thing in Excel, same thing in MySQL table. Okay, right, so rows and columns. Okay, so now we have a structure, just a structure. So how to put things in reality into array? Well, array stuff. We're gonna use these brackets and basically a lot of them. So let's just have a little bit of space to, you know, to feel a little bit better about this whole confusion. Right, so how many rows we'll have? 1, 2, okay, 1, 2. Right, so that means that we must have 2 arrays in it. And how we are splitting arrays? Well, with the comma in between. And let me have a little bit of space more. And also here. I'm gonna concatenate this a little couple of seconds later, but let's just, you know, understand this if we can. Okay, so now we need to grab these things and put it here. So let's do that. 2 and 5 and 6, and in here we need to have another array, 4 and 7 and 9. Okay, so just remember how many these things you have here, that many these curly brackets groupings you're gonna have. If I have 3 things here, like number 3, then I will have also comma here and a new array, totally new array. But right now we just have one array, one row in here. Okay, so one grouping for this case and another grouping for that case. So remember, these are openings and these are closing for your general array, but we need to get into details with implementation of these concrete examples, and they are separated by comma. And we have, of course, comma inside of your normal individual arrays. So now let me fix this a little bit. I do know it's a little bit ugly, but let me try to do something if I can. I do know it's ugly, but yeah, this is programming, so what the hell. And let me concatenate this. So now it's cool, but because this is actual command to the system, we must close it with semicolon. And let me test this if I didn't create any kind of error. Okay, so no results, no errors. This is cool. So here's a question: how to grab individual elements from individual unique arrays? Well, we will use positions, and two of them. So cout, what is the target? Multi-array. So the first array, okay, and you know that we are using indexes from the last couple of tutorials. So let's just say that here will be general index 1 for this array, and here will be general index for that array. So yes, we are also counting from 0 when we are dealing with arrays. So if we want to grab anything from array on index 0, first thing first, we must type 0 here, because this is our primary target. So after that, we are just switching to inside. So this was outside, but we still have general target, and now we are getting inside. So now this will be at position 0, this will be at position 1, and this will be at position 2. So these are just indexes, positions, don't worry about that. So if you want to grab number 6, then we need to put index 2 here. This is how you grab stuff from multi-dimensional arrays. And let me delete this because I don't want to confuse myself anymore. And let me check the code. Oh yeah, end line here and semicolon. So now we need to get number 6 from that 0 position array. And let's run this stuff. And there you go, position 6. So if you want to grab position 2, then the situation is very easy. The index of this thing is 0. Okay, we have it, and what we are grabbing, value 2, but that value is also at position at index 0. Okay, and now we will have 6 and 2 as results, one after another. There you go. So following the same logic, let me delete this. Now let's switch to array at position 1. So remember, we are not talking about values yet. We are talking about position of that individual array in our big array, big grouping. So this is at the general position 1, and this is the first thing you need to put into this left bracket. Okay, so left brackets are always for primary position. So let's say we want to grab 4. This is value, okay, value, and 4 is at position 0 in this individual array. Okay, so let's do that, and now we'll have 4 as a result. Can we combine these things? Well, yes. So let me steal this code to save you a little bit of time. Let me copy paste. So let's combine. Let's say we want to grab 5 here from this first array. So what is the index of this first array? Like, just imagine this thing here. It is a 0. Okay, so this is our target, 0. And what we are grabbing from array on index 0, we are grabbing element, okay, element on position 1. And let's change that here, and now we will get 5 as a first result. There you go, 5 and 4. So that's cool, that works. Now I do know that it looks confusing, and it's it's complete mess when you get into levels, like more levels. So yeah, I mean, matrices, what else to say? It's easier to write them on a piece of paper when you're doing your mathematical homework, but when you need to deal with them like programmatically, it's complete mess. But it is the simplest possible scenario. There is no simpler like example than this. So just remember, this is the general approach. When you have this objective, when you're constructing your general big array, the first thing here will be the number of rows. So here you are constructing your array, you're outlining the structure of your array. Okay, so 2 rows, there you go, and 3 columns, there you go. So now when you are done with that, forget about that and then go and to fulfill actual data. So the easiest thing is just to grab these things from your objective, copy paste it, but inside of these quotes, and also the same stuff with objective number 2, just copy paste it inside of individual brackets. Okay, what I said, quotes or brackets, I don't know, brackets. And when you do that, don't forget to use comma, because that's the way how to separate arrays from each other and actual values from each other. So when you are printing the stuff down there, forget about these things. This is just for structure, and this is the positions. So this individual array will be on position 0, because that's how we count in programming, and this will be at position 1. So when you solve that, then you will go and normally extract, like when you're doing with single arrays, elements based on position. So here we are grabbing actual element 5, actual value 5 through the positions. Okay, and position is 0, 1. There you go. So if you cannot grasp this like immediately, just breathe and give yourself 15 minutes or 1 day, and then return to this stuff. Rarely you're gonna use this, only probably if you're into game development and mathematical stuff, and probably cryptography. Okay, so yeah, just breathe, and this is easy to understand through a couple of times if you give yourselves a little bit of space and time, you know. So start with your goal, construct that with these things, and then copy paste actual values in here, separate it with comma and these curly brackets inside of general brackets, and then extract individual things based on first index and then switch to internal index. So this is like external index and this is like internal indexes. Right, I'm gonna shut up because definitely I don't see easier way to explain this than showing this actually on a piece of paper, but I'm recording desktop, so there you go. Anyway, I'm gonna shut up. Thank you for watching and see you next tutorial.